Welcome to Goodwood, a show about board games. Today I'm reviewing Agricola. Will it stay on my shelf, or is it a lump of cow turd? Let's find out. Agricola is a game for 2 to 4 players, which runs for about 2 to 3 hours, where you play as a family of farmers. You develop your farm, and you try to survive by securing enough food to feed your family each harvest. The game consists of 15 rounds, and at the end, the winner is the player who has the most points. Points are allocated according to this chart, and essentially you get points for having a well-developed farm with loads of different stuff, and you lose points for having empty spaces and not being able to feed your family during the game. In each of the 15 rounds, players alternate taking turns. On your turn, you take one of your farmers and send them to work by placing them on one of the available actions. This action means you get some food. This action means you get some grain. This action means you get some wood. You get the idea. You keep taking actions until everyone's run out of people, then the round ends. You replenish the spaces with the resources, reveal a new available action for the next round, and that's it. Unfortunately, Agricola places a spanner in the works. Every few rounds, there's a harvest denoted by this icon. In each harvest, you harvest the crops from your board, your animals have a good time and multiply, and then your family get hungry, and you have to feed them. Each family member you have needs 3 food, which is a lot. For every food you can't provide, you lose 3 points on your final score, which is massive. To demonstrate how tight food is in this game, you start with no food and 2 family members. Remember, each family member requires 3 food. At the beginning of the game, there's 3 rounds until the first harvest. That means a total of 6 turns to get 6 food to just about feed your family and avoid any penalties. So how do you get food? This space will get me 2 food. That's okay. But this space adds more food every round, as indicated by this arrow. When playing, you can often encounter situations like the following. If I wait an extra round, then this action space will give me 3 food instead of just 2. That's more efficient. But here's my opponent, Mrs. Stop, who still has a family member left to send to work, and she's just taken the 2 food instead of me. Now, this space will only have 1 food on it next turn. Crumbs. Surely there must be a more efficient way of getting food. Vegetarians won't like this idea, but how about we eat the animals we've got on our farm? This oven will let me convert 1 pig into 3 food whenever I need to. Great. Let's get an oven then. I need the pigs, which I don't have any of yet. I need fences around the pigs so they don't run away, and wood to build those fences. This all takes many turns to develop, turns which you could just be getting food directly, but inefficiently. And you'll also be competing against your opponent for all these resources, because they're trying to do the exact same thing. So, although Agricola may appear to be Farmville the board game, it's actually a stressful few hours of struggling to make ends meet feeding your family. It's not a relaxed game where you can freely build an agricultural masterpiece. That's a shame, because in Agricola you can build pastures to keep pigs, sheep and cattle, build stables to increase the number of animals you can keep even further, plough fields which you can then plant crops on, renovate your house from wood to clay and then to stone, extend your house, and grow your family, meaning you have even more turns each round. But each of these improvements will feel like a battle to obtain, and you can only really allow yourself to indulge in these point-generating luxuries once you've got your food situation sorted. Maybe this is all a bit too close to real life. So what do I like about Agricola? I'm going to start off by admitting that I love Agricola. It's a tight, difficult game involving loads of competition for resources, exactly what I love to play. As you become more familiar with Agricola, you'll start to choose resources not only to help improve your own farm, but to prevent your opponents being able to develop theirs. That can lead to some quite malicious play if you so choose, especially in 2-player games. It's immensely satisfying when, despite the odds, you do manage to create a pretty farm that generates points. Another strength is the game's replayability, which is primarily generated from a huge part of the game that I haven't mentioned yet, the cards. Each player starts with green occupation cards and orange minor improvement cards, which you can play during the game. These give you, and only you, an advantage. For example, this card lets you get more wood when you choose a wood gaining action. This means that every time you play Agricola, your best chance at winning is often dictated by the cards you start off with, allowing you to devise a strategy from the get-go. If you like the idea of strategizing to make the best of what you've been dealt every game, Agricola is for you. And if you want an evergreen, replayable game where you can constantly work at improving your score each time you play, again, Agricola is for you. But at this point I need to digress slightly. Agricola is designed by Uwe Rosenberg, an amazing board game designer known for his low-luck farming games. Some similar titles include Caverna, A Feast for Odin, Fields of Arle, Glass Road, Aurea Labora. To be honest, the choice is quite overwhelming. And out of all of these, Agricola can be quite punishing to start with, even though it's my favourite Uwe Rosenberg game. To some, Agricola's card play can feel stifling. You might want your farm to have loads of animals, but your cards might all be to do with grain production and house renovation. If you want to make your farm exactly how you want it to be, then this game may not be for you. If you don't like the idea of maybe not being able to create the perfect farm because of the need to generate food, or you don't like the fraught competition for resources, I would try a different Uwe game first, like Caverna, because Agricola may just frustrate you. In Caverna or A Feast for Odin, you have so many choices that there's far less competition over resources, and therefore more freedom in creating an engine that you're happy with. The food issue isn't as difficult in those games either. For me though, Agricola remains my favourite Uwe Rosenberg game, and will be staying on my shelf. I can't see a worldly dimension where I would ever sell this game. And if you like Agricola, I would also recommend any worker placement game. There's so many. Some of my favourite are A Feast for Odin, Anachrony, Caelus, Everdell. You get the point, there are a lot. Thanks for watching. Goodwood is not sponsored by any board game companies, and all games are purchased by myself. If you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel by clicking the Goodwood logo you can see on the screen now. And please like this video too, it is a world of good.